Hello again. We're still in week one of CM400C, Visual Design for Mobile Apps. Today we're going to be learning about landscape of mobile app development and design. Reasons to become part of this very exciting field. It's a very dynamic job. For me, the appeal of mobile app development comes from my desire to be highly creative and a dynamic profession. Be part of a dynamic profession. Technology is dynamic in that it is always changing and there are always new things to learn and it continues to progress. It's very creative. Mobile app development and design really provides a medium to create, design, and test. So if you are really interested in product development, this is a great field to be in right now. It's in high demand. There are thousands of jobs nationally, globally. Basically, if you're a programmer, you're always going to have work. And I think the best part of it is working with people. The old paradigm on a programmer working solo has really shifted with the advent of mobile app development because today dev shops are agile environments in which it requires solutions that evolve through collaboration between self-organizing. Some of these agile development values include individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation. So the goal is to always have a minimum viable product or something that's working, something that looks good. Customer collaboration. So in agile development environments, you're really collaborating with your clients and creating a product together. And you're really responding to change rather than following a plan. So in this field, whether you're a developer or a designer, be prepared to respond to changes because changes will occur very often. All right. So it takes a team to build an app. Your team will include other app developers, graphic designers, content developers, your clients, and then friends, family, and colleagues. You will work with people from many different professional backgrounds. Sometimes you may be the only designer on an app team, or you may be co-designing with another designer. Building an app is a community effort, and your team will also, like I said, include all these people. As the lead designer, you will help to answer these questions for your team. What do you think the app does? What caught your attention? What was most helpful? What was least helpful? Where would you tap first? So in thinking about designing the screen, where would the user tap first and how would you indicate that, through design? What do you remember first? So what as a designer, you want to be able to think, okay, what's the first impression the user is going to have? And then what do you like most about the design? What do you like least? Your clients, most often than not, you will be including your clients in the design and development process of your applications. You and your team will set weekly design and dev goals and most likely meet with your client every 2 weeks to discuss app progress. And then, of course, you always want to tap on your friends, family, and other colleagues, other designers, other developers during the app development process so that they can provide feedback on your app design and ideas because eventually you want to test your application before you submit it on the App Store. Additional skills. Yeah, this is a very, as I mentioned, dynamic field as well as a demanding field. It will help to know a little bit about marketing and PR. So, some of the easiest ways to do marketing and PR is to create a blog or a website for your application. Programming, it helps to know a little bit of programming, especially if you may be the lead designer on a team. Project management and accounting. So you definitely want to know how to set deadlines, and how to meet those deadlines, how to match deadlines to budgets. Those are some of the things that you need to be aware of. Software testing, creating a website. So if you're not sure about how to create a website, you may want to team up with a web developer to create a website to market your product. Time management is very critical. Critical thinking and decision-making skills. So definitely have to be able to make decisions, very quickly, in an agile environment. And then you have to have a sense of humor, because this field can be very frustrating. It's a lot of hard work. It takes about 600 to 800 hours to create a mobile application. So you are really pouring in a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours in front of your computer when you embark in this field. All right, so we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about app goals. And I try to keep things really simple, like cut it down to 3, which is all applications, they essentially solve a problem, meaning they allow the user to do something that maybe they weren't able to do before. But you also have to captivate your user as well, and a lot of times this is where design comes in, being able to captivate the user. The app, should look very simple, intuitive, and aesthetically pleasing. And then you want to connect people to people and people to places. So as I mentioned, your app solves a problem. You should set up your users for success. Success could mean many different things. Keep in mind that your app should make life for your users easier, more entertaining, and allow them to execute a task. I call this the 3 E's: easy, entertaining, and execution. And then, of course, you want to captivate your users at any opportunity. And then you want to connect. So one of the best ways you can take advantage of the mobile technologies is including its built-in sensors to utilize GPS functionalities, as well as capturing the moment through incorporating the camera and opportunities to introduce other media, including audio and or video. So by including these capabilities in your app, you can better connect your users to what is around them and enable them to share their experiences with their greater network or community. So, allowing them to share via social media is something that's everybody knows is very popular. So you have an idea, right? But your idea can't stay in your head. If you do have an app idea, be sure that you can articulate your ideas in words. Take a moment to jot some notes down and bounce your app ideas off of others. So friends, family, colleagues. Commit your ideas to paper. So write it down. Don't keep it in your head. Trust me, you'll forget your ideas. This is also a time that you may want to start some research and or put together some preliminary sketches for your app idea. And then I always say build what you want, unless you're working for a client. It's a great rule of thumb is to build what you want. The reason for this is that your passion will carry you through the process of designing an application. The more passion you have, the more of yourself you have in the app, the more likely you're going to follow through with completing the design and development. So if you're thinking about, okay, how do I articulate my app idea? You want to be able to answer these questions first, and I call it the 5 W's. Why are you creating this app? Who is your target audience? What does your app do? Or what are its core features and functions? You want to keep your app functionality and features to a minimum, so you don't want to have your app doing everything under the sun. Well, where will your users use the app? At school, at home, outdoors? And then when will your users use the app? When they wake up, after class, during class, right now, before they go to bed? So these are a lot of the questions that you want to be able to answer. And then be prepared to explain how is your app different or unique? And then will you incorporate social media? Note that in a sea of apps, there are over 1 million apps in the Apple App Store alone. So you really want to, if you're going to put in 600 to 800 hours to create a mobile application, you definitely want to invest in something that's different or unique or more innovative. And then, of course, knowing the impact of social media, you want to plan early on and decide whether or not you'll be incorporating social media into your app. So as I mentioned, there's over 1 million apps in the App Store. So do some research on app designs and app concepts that may be similar to yours. What should you be thinking about while researching? Well, ways to simplify apps that already exist. Maybe some integration with social media. Look for designs you can sharpen and simplify and make more intuitive. And of course, always read the customer reviews and feedback when doing research. Also, you can check out what are people on Twitter saying about the app you're looking at or other online resources. Look at the app's Facebook page. Remember that you are not searching for an app idea. You're getting to know your audience and your users better by doing some research. Well, let's look at some great apps. These are apps that I really enjoy and use. So PicStitch is a photo manipulation app. It quickly combines multiple photos into one beautifully framed photo collage. And then feel free to take a moment later to download the app or share it with your neighbor. So it solves a problem, allows users to create a photo collage without using software programs such as Photoshop. Many of you are probably very skilled in using Photoshop, but I found it very difficult to do a photo collage, and now I don't have to use Photoshop to do a photo collage. I can use PicStitch. It's captivating because you can create a PicStitch from just about anywhere with any photos on your phone. And then it allows you to connect. If you look at the screen on the right, you're able to share your PicStitch with your community, either via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Path, email. So there's lots of options. And then it fulfills the 3 E's. It's easy. Pick your PicStitch photo. It's entertaining because you get to make something from your own photos. And then it allows the user to complete a task or allows them to execute a task. You put it together and you share it, via your choosing. So really like this app. And these are some of the photo collages that I was able to make using PicStitch. All right, so another great app. Learn how to build amazing things online by programming with Codecademy. So it solves a problem. Learn how to program while on the go. Captivate, learn something new about coding every day. But Connect, it doesn't seem to allow users to connect outside of the app. But nonetheless, it's easy, entertaining, and it allows the user to complete a task. And here we're looking at Sunrise. The Sunrise app is a calendar app complete with a gorgeous user interface. So it allows users to organize their lives and provides users with different views of their calendar. So you could do monthly, weekly, you could do a daily view. And what's really fun about this is that, for example, if you look at the left screen capture there, 6 p.m. yoga 2. So that icon there is like, it's a barbell icon, so it has smart icons. So if it recognizes something that represents exercise, it labels that with the exercise icon that the designer developed. So these are little things that make the user experience and the user interface great to look at, and the experience great for the user. And you can, add events. This is very familiar to most of you, probably, how you add a new event and then it's displayed on your calendar. So very easy, intuitive to use. So yeah, those are some app examples. Right now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to learn about app navigation. So navigation models and standard controls. I am going to lecture a little further into controls later on in the course in a few weeks. So navigation models, utilizing the user interface to move through the app using screen, space, and gestures. Standard controls, these include bars, status bar, navigation bar, toolbar, table view. So we'll go over all of those. So we'll start with navigation models. So here we've got the tab bar, the bento box, and the sliding cards. So we're going to look at a few examples. So the tab bar, right? So the tab bar here is on the bottom of this NPR screenshot here, the NPR app screenshot. You can move easily from screen to screen, build in 5 different screens for displaying app content. So what I mean by that is you have news, programs, stations, playlists, and more. And it makes it easy for the user to execute an action. So if you want to go from news to program really easily, you can do that via the tab bar. Bento box. So launch screen is in a block formation. Each bento box or block icon activates a user experience into different parts of this Flipboard application. And to me, it's very simple and it's an elegant display. So, some of you may choose to create a bento box navigation model for your application. And then we have the sliding cards. So you slide through the app like a deck of cards. It's very elegant. And then you have the dot navigation on the bottom of the screen there. So here I can see that I'm in screen 1 out of the 4 navigation screens. So we're moving on to standard controls. And standard controls display content and get things done. So you have the bars, status, and navigation. You have the toolbar, and then you have, of course, the table view. So the bars, status bar is at the very top in the black area. So you have how strong your phone signal is, the time, your battery, if you have an alarm set. And then you have your navigation, which is here indicated with the blue bar. This is the Facebook app. And then this Facebook app actually also has a slide out navigation, so kind of like the sliding cards. Toolbar, right, is located on the bottom of the screen and enables the users to do something. So execute. So you can delete a photo, you can share it, or you could add it to another album. So, and then Apple provides like these really nice custom icons for the toolbar, or you can design your own if you want to. And then we've got the table view. The table view is is a very powerful way to navigate through an application, and it also allows users to perform an action. So you could, you know, go into nested table views and then eventually lead you to a page where you're able to complete complete an action. All right, so other guiding questions. What is the big picture, right? So what is the core feature? What defines your application? You want people to get absorbed in when they're using your app for this reason. The secondary feature, you may have a secondary feature, and these features are functionalities that help keep your user absorbed. But remember that we don't want to get, you probably don't want to have more than 1 to 2 features in your applications. And how does the app captivate the user? So you always want to kind of be thinking about these two things when you're designing your application. The big picture, and then how are you going to captivate. So we're going to actually look at the case study, a case study of the local IA app. And as I had mentioned earlier, I started it on April 1st, 2012. It got accepted on the App Store October 10th, 2013. So it does take a while to do this. I just want to mention that it took over 1.5 years to create. The entire team consisted of 9 people. We had 3 app developers, a project manager, 1 designer, 2 scientists, and then 2 cultural advisors. As demonstrated in this picture, the app development process really starts on paper or on whiteboard, but you're definitely like jotting down a lot of ideas. During the app design process, you will constantly go back and forth from the drawing board or your sketchbook to developing your final wireframes and app prototypes. So think of this as a regular practice as a designer when you create your mobile apps. So here are a few screenshots from the local IA app, and you got to see kind of the whole video in our last lecture presentation. On the left is the home screen. The middle screen is part of the About section. So if you press the About button, that's the first screen that you would go to in the middle. And the screen on the right is a website that you can access directly from the application. So here are a few more screenshots. The middle initial screen on the walking tour part of the app. So if you press walking tour from the home screen, that'll take you to the second screen there. And then if you hit virtual tour from the home screen, it'll take you to the virtual tour part of the app. All right, so what are today's takeaways? That this is a dynamic and team-oriented field. Be prepared to work in a fast-paced and demanding field. Mobile app design and development requires you to work with a team. Know how to communicate and learn to manage your time. If you are good at tracking your work in school, you'll do fine tracking your progress in mobile app design and development. Learn or find people with skills. So building the app is only a small part of the landscape. You will surely need the help of a project manager, other programmers, a marketing firm, website developer, So, and you can't be afraid from making a decision. Remember that unless you're working for a client, your app goal, your number one goal is to solve a problem when you're thinking about app ideas. Remember, your problems are not uniquely yours, but because you have a problem, you have intimate knowledge on how you can use mobile app technologies to solve it. We're going to learn that in this class. This wraps up the second lecture for this week. Please continue on to the last lecture of the week, Mobile App Anatomy and Types of Apps. Aloha.